What's up, ladies and gentlemen of YouTube? Boogie2988 coming at you live once again through the power of the internet. And another embarrassing story. I asked you guys on Twitter if you wanted me to keep doing these embarrassing stories, and your answer was yes. And based on the comments I've gotten, and based on everything else, it seems like you really want to hear about this one. So I'm excited to tell you. I'm going to add this to a playlist of stories that you might enjoy. You'll find that link down below. You'll find a link to my merch shop. But no, you don't have to do any of that. If you want to support me, all you have to do is drop a like on this video, feed the algorithm monster, leave a comment, and let YouTube know you like and interacted with this video. I'm built different. And I don't mean that the way the kids say it these days, because that's a bit of I mean, I'm literally physically built different on the inside and out. I mean, obviously on the outside. If you've ever seen me, like, you know, without a shirt on, you know what I'm talking about. In fact, pretty sure most people don't have one of these. If you do, I'm sorry. I met with a plastic surgeon once about getting that part of my body removed, and he referred to it as a meat apron. Meat apron. A part of my body is medically known as a meat apron. And it's basically loose skin from gaining weight and losing weight and gaining weight and losing weight and gaining weight and losing weight. And guess what? If you do that, you're probably going to get a meat apron too. In fact, you might already have one. And of course, they got these big old milkers, but there's something special about these big old milkers that are different from other guys' big old floppers. And in this video, you're going to find out why a doctor made me get a mammogram. A mammogram. I am a man who had to get a mammogram. Back in 2012, 2014, in that neighborhood, when I was first trying to lose weight for the first time, I found it very difficult to lose weight, and I found it very difficult to exercise, which in my mind, it was simply because I was so morbidly obese. But a follower on my YouTube timeline said, have you had your hormone levels checked? I got mine checked, found out I had low testosterone, and that it really helped when we got that corrected. So I went to an endocrinologist. They made me do blood work prior to the appointment, and then I did the blood work, and then they called me in, and they sat down with me and my wife at the time, the woman who is now my ex-wife, and he had some words.
Hello, Mr. Williams. It's a pleasure to meet you. Now, according to your paperwork here, you are a hermaphrodite, correct?
No, that is not. No, sir, that is not correct.
No, you have both male and female genitalia present in your body?
No, just the one genitals, a penis and two testicles. Normal number, I think.
Yes, and they are normal, yes?
You are the expert. I don't know. I would like to think they are normal. I don't have a lot of experience with a lot of other guys' junk, but mine seem normal.
You are his wife. You have seen them, correct? Are they normal?
Yeah, I've seen a few in my lifetime there, Chief. They're pretty normal.
Oh. Well, let's have you hop up on the table and check for a vagina.
The doctor called in his male nurse, and they put me up on the table, and they did their best impression of prison guards, checking everywhere for a possible vagina. Do you know one of the places you have to check for a vagina is inside your butt? Apparently, you can have a vagina in your butthole. Either that or those two men owe me dinner. But the male nurse was there to help move things out of the way because I'm a 600-pound man, and in order to find everything, they had to work together as a team. But they found everything, and eventually they moved on to my male genitalia, and while they were there, they discovered that it was average. They said that it was average. They told me that it was, in fact, average. So I have medically diagnosed average genitalia. I almost had that framed and put on my wall. You see, this made me actually really proud because about 10 years before, I'd got a different diagnosis from a medical professional. I gotten very sick and went to the hospital, and I came in unconscious, and when I woke up, I had a catheter inside me. And if you've ever had a catheter, you'll know they are very uncomfortable. I did not like this at all. So when I finally was conscious and felt like I could get up and move around, I told the doctor, I want this thing out of me. And the doctor informed me,
hello, Mr. Williams. I understand you wishes to remove your catheter for you, sir.
I would like that very much because it hurts when I pee and also when I don't pee.
Well, you do understand if we do this, you will have to get up and go to the bathroom every time you need to go. our nurses will not be helping you with that, correct?
Yeah, man, that's how I've been doing it every day so far for the last 35 years or so. So I don't mind picking that back up sometime today.
Well, I ask, sir, because it seems like you don't have a lot of clearance down there. Yes, you're not working with much.
You know, I really appreciate your colorful commentary, and it's making my hospital stay so much nicer. But I'd still like you to take the tube out of my dick, Doc. Yeah, that doctor was not impressed with what I was working with, which makes sense because no one has ever been impressed with it. I haven't been impressed with it. But my new doctor found it to be average. So now he and I are best friends forever. Thanks, Doc, for the self-esteem. But it turned out I was, in fact, a soy boy. I was a low-T cuck. I had very low testosterone. In fact, dangerously low testosterone, because as my doctor explained to me, my testosterone was so low, the muscles in my body were having trouble repairing themselves because I had less testosterone than your average woman would. And I told him, well, that's not a big deal to me. It's not like I exercise. He said, Stephen, your heart is a muscle that needs to be able to repair itself. So I listened to my doctor, and to try to avoid a heart attack, started taking weekly testosterone supplements, and it has helped a little bit. My testosterone is now below average, but in a safe level, and that seems to be where they want it to be, and I'm okay with that. I mean, I guess it's better than roiding out, and I've been on it for quite some time, and I think it's really helped a lot. But the doctor explained to me that I had a lot of estrogen in my bloodstream, and the estrogen had been wreaking havoc on my body my whole life. I mean, previously, before supplements, I wasn't able to really grow much of a beard. I had almost no body hair. And as I mentioned before, I have actual breast tissue in my man titties. Enough to where I have to get a mammogram as often as a woman will, because I could get actual breast cancer if I'm not careful. So I'm that lucky guy who gets both mammograms and colonoscopies every few years. So that's great. So what had happened was I was very fat before puberty. And then as I was approaching puberty, I had all this fat in my body, and fat produces estrogen. So I had enough estrogen in my body at the time of puberty to confuse my system. And I guess naturally I would not have made very much testosterone. And I also had some trauma to my genitalia as part of my abusive childhood. So that apparently could have played a role in it as well. But long story short, I grew up with way more estrogen in my bloodstream than I did testosterone, and almost no testosterone. So I don't know, man. People talk about trans this, trans that. I don't know where that puts me. I've always identified as male, so I guess I'm male, but I've got the tits of a woman. Also, fighting for trans rights is fighting for human rights, because trans people are human. Thought I'd throw that out there. But my body was having trouble producing muscle. And on top of that, very little of my body was muscle. So not only was I carrying around like 600 pounds of fat, but it was almost exclusively fat. There was very little muscle to help me carry it around. It is a damn miracle I wasn't in the wheelchair sooner than I was. It is a miracle I was able to move and walk and do these free Insta sketches and videos that I was doing in 2010, 2012, 2014, because I could barely move, man. I don't know how I stayed alive. Thank God I saw that doctor, though. And even though it was embarrassing, and even though it was awful, if you're in that same situation, you should get that kind of stuff checked too. Your heart's a muscle, man. Make sure it can do the work. And that showed me, again, how many psychological components and how many physiological components can go into weight loss. If you're taking the wrong medication, if your hormones are screwed up, it might be impossible for you to lose weight very quickly, or like a normal person would. It might be impossible for you to do the things that you need to do, or control your eating, or control your habits, because you're not mentally well, you're not physically well. You got to be well for your body to function. So know that it can be complicated, and if you've struggled in the past, a doctor might be able to help you with that stuff. He really might. If you are overweight, if you have physical health problems, if you have signs and symptoms, it is important to go see a doctor. And hey, even if you're healthy, a yearly checkup's not going to hurt. You should do it. And I mean, I get it. Here in the United States, we don't all have access to health care like the rest of the first world does. And if you're in the rest of the first world, you have no excuse not to take advantage of that health care. But if you're here in the United States and you're afraid to spend the money, it can be worth it, because it can save your life. I know what a struggle it is. I've been there, and I hated it. But it's worth it. It's worth it. That's why I fight so hard to make sure everybody has access to healthcare they can afford. Because I am a product of the miracle of modern medicine. I am a 47-year-old man who used to be 600 pounds, who's 390 pounds currently today. Yes, I need to lose some more weight. And I'm so lucky to be alive. I'm so grateful for the medical care that we have. And I'm also grateful that they diagnosed me with a slightly average penis. So, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative and helpful for you. I hope you're having a great week. If you enjoyed these videos, drop a like, hit subscribe. I think you'll be glad you did. As always, guys, thanks for watching. I love you very much, and I will speak with you again soon. Take care of yourself. You deserve it.